Insights with Terri Ep.110, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.110. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.110. Thank you for joining me this week of February the 27th through March the 5th, 2023. I have some really interesting thoughts that I'm excited to share with you. A lot of thinking this last week with where the planets are and what they're doing and what we're supposed to be learning. And I'm really excited to share some with you. A lot of it is channeled. I can't take the credit for it. It is channeled, so it doesn't come from me. Now, first we'll start with the science of it, where the planets are right now, and that's still in Pisces for the sun sign, which gives us perception and depth and understanding and compassion and sensitivity. It'll make us want to reach outside of ourselves and continue in a way that's, I'm going to say, more human, because pairing that with Mercury, where the planet is that pushes our thoughts, makes us want to understand things mentally, makes us want to learn things and try to come to a resolution or an understanding or a why did that happen, or why does it keep happening, or even what's happening. I love that. And then on the 3rd of this week, Aquarius is turning into Pisces, which doubles Pisces up, both in the sun sign and in Mercury. So that gives us extra perception, maybe a louder, more clear channel to our psychic self, to that intuitive voice that guides us always correctly if we're on the right channel, not if we're not. And then Venus, the planet of attraction, the planet of what we strive for, what's attractive to us for this week or month or year or our lives, is in Aries. And Aries is that energy that allows us to push forward, maybe with aggression if it's necessary, or just that passion, that red fire that's in us that wants us to move forward in our lives, in our thoughts, in our discoveries, in our evolution. Read that new book, understand that movie. What's the nuances of what that person said? How can I learn from this failure? This wasn't a failure. This was just a lesson. How can I be better on the other side of it? All of that passion. And then Mars, the planet of our drive, and that again is a passion, because Mars is the zodiac sign that it pairs with is Aries, but Mars now is in Gemini, so that's the thinking planet, the curious zodiac sign, the one that wants us to take our minds and use them as the tool. So you pair that with where Venus is and where Mars is. Holy cow. Talk about them giving us some tools. And then that psychic energy of Pisces that allows us, both in Mercury and the sun sign, to be perceptive, to open that channel up to the source, to those things that are bigger than ourselves, to move forward with that. That's just amazing and invigorating. So what we have to look forward to here is greater understanding. Because I spend so much time with my animals, I do spend time with people. I spend quite a bit of time with people, but my especial cherished time always is with the people I love, and that quiet time that I have with my animals to observe the chickens, the turkeys, the ducks, the dogs, the cats, all the wildlife that's around me. What are they teaching me right now? What am I supposed to learn from all of this? And what came to me this week very powerfully and very extremely strong was trust. We've lost, in many cases, our trust. 911 took that away from us. When that happened to the United States, it happened to the world. It came from another country that is supposed to be, far removed from us. But I think really what it drove home was that we are all connected, and that was the lesson that I think we were supposed to learn, is that the globe is very small, and what we do to one, we do to all, so that separation now no longer exists. It is truly and honestly global. So I think what it was trying to help us understand is that we have choices. And sometimes we don't have a choice about what happens to us, but we do have a choice of how we are going to react to that event, to that circumstance. And I think that the universe is trying to help us find a meaning and a purpose in our existence. And really, that's fundamental to human beings. And I think maybe in some way we might have lost that connection. When I was young, our world was so much smaller. As I've said before, they delivered milk with a horse to your door with those glass jars and the cream on top. I could go on, but you get the idea. And people did things for each other. They did things that they enjoyed. So mostly, people enjoyed their work, their career. They felt that they were in service to other people. That milkman brought the milk to the house. People were glad to see him. Maybe they were out of milk. Maybe it was a relief because now they have milk for the children. So he was doing a service. He worked with his horse. The horse learned the mechanics of it. The horse learned which houses to go to, when to turn, what streets to go down. There was a companionship that milkman had to his horse. There was an excitement of the children in the neighborhood that was waiting for the horse to come. The horse that drove the ice truck. He would give us chips from the ice truck. We were so excited to get these ice chips from the ice truck and to see the horse. And the sheeny man that took our garbage, he had a horn, and I remember he had a gray horse, the poor thing, workhorse. And we were so excited for those events as a neighborhood bunch of children. And even the adults got on board. You'd hear that horn. You knew you could hear the horse clopping down the alleyway. You'd run quickly to get what you could give him. Even the hobos that would mark my grandmother's front porch. I don't know how the mark was or what it was, but they all knew to stop there because she always had something to give them. She always had food to give them, to wrap up and have them take away. It made her feel good about herself. It made us as children feel good that we were doing something, plus setting a good example of how we should be in service to each other. That their hard life didn't mean that we couldn't help or shouldn't help. And look at the homeless now. And the arguments that we're having about whether we should help them or not, or whether they deserve help. It's not my world anymore. My world's gone. My world that I grew up in has evaporated and turned into some gray cement place that is so disconnected from nature with all that cement. And each other, and COVID-19 helped push that further. The loneliness, it was a breeding ground for loneliness. Our energy derives from meaning and purpose and maybe positively asserting our free will. That's a valuable ingredient for battling loneliness, and that was taken away from us. I'm not saying by the government. I believe the government did what it thought it should do and did what it thought it needed to do. But the pandemic took that away. That social isolation imposed by that pandemic, which was going to come because of our thoughtlessness, our arrogance that we thought that we were above even nature. Sorry to make us wake up. Those lockdowns catapulted us that epidemic of loneliness went from bad to worse because we were already experiencing it. From not being able to work, to being denied interactions, not seeing live faces, to people, oh my gosh, having to die alone, to be sick alone. And I know the nurses and the doctors did everything that they could do. I missed most the hugging. I missed the grandchildren. Even the suspension of travel, and I'm not a traveler, but I like to do something, and the empty attendance of our religious places of worship. And I don't go to church, but I saw the pain of other people. The sporting events. I don't go to sporting events or concerts. Other people did, but that was taken away from them too. So truthfully, the pandemic was a social disaster. I've seen it in the dogs that come. I'm the busiest I've ever been in dog training because the dogs that grew up during that isolation now are dealing with separation anxiety, bad behavior, biting their families. It's horrid. It's absolutely horrid. I've never seen anything like this. I've been training dogs for over 65 years. And I've never seen this before to this level. I think that the first societal casualty of this circumstance that we find ourselves in was that we have lost trust. We've lost trust in our lives. We've lost trust in each other. We've lost trust in the future. I mean, just look at it. We can't go in an airport without somebody thinking that someone's going to blow up the train. So we have the security. We have all those extra layers of security that we need with cameras, and it's a sea of change. That societal trust has diminished even further. The pandemic is occurring during a time of when we were already in an increased suspicion from 911 for those of whom are around us and disagree with us politically. I know if you're a Trumper and I'm not a Trumper, or vice versa, we don't like each other. So we've gone from mentally, based on a legal system, that one assumes innocence until proven guilty, to a world where we walk around assuming that everybody is carrying a disease or transmitting a virus until they're proven innocent. So we've imposed restrictions based on those assumptions. You're guilty, you're diseased, you can't hug me, I can't hug you. With the government telling us how to breathe, how to touch, how to express ourselves, how to move. So regardless of the temporary legitimacy, these denials of basic human needs, it can't be sustained. We have to change this. Breathing our own recycled air for hours is literally an exhausting experience. Asking the people that lived in the nursing homes alone, the people that were the hospitals alone, that was an imposed loneliness. So we have to look at this, folks. How do we fight this? How do we, in our small little way, find a way back to what we thought our given right and has been taken away, not by the government, by circumstances. And it's our jobs to get it back. When I watch my pack, I have 15 dogs. I have chickens. I've got 29 chickens and ducks and turkeys. And I watch them. And when it gets cold, they huddle together. Not all of them. The new ones aren't trusted yet. The new ones that maybe are a different breed or have different behaviors or haven't assimilated into the pack are ostracized. They're left out because their behavior is different. They haven't learned the rules or don't want to learn the rules. So they're not trusted. So until they demonstrate kindness, until they demonstrate that they have patience, that one dog steps on another inadvertently, because my dogs are not allowed to be rude, and the other dogs don't have to lash out. But if they're not respectful of the space and they step on them on purpose or inadvertently, they're cast out again, even more. So they have to pay attention. They have to look and see what's going on. What are the other dogs doing? What are the other chickens doing? How do I get myself accepted into this safe environment? Because they warn each other of danger. They play with each other. They interact with each other. They make the feathers look better by preening each other and grooming each other. And that grooming and bonding helps them become cohesive, a pack that gets things done. Find new ponds to swim in, find new areas. When the chickens find food that I've thrown out that I thought might be wilted, the chickens eat it and give me eggs, but they'll cluck and cluck and cluck and tell the others that there's food here, and they all join in. The way we live, we wouldn't cluck. We'd eat it all for ourselves. Many people, not everybody, but a good balance of them, would grab it and hoard it and keep it to themselves. We didn't do that in the old days. We shared. If we had one loaf of bread, we took half of it to the neighbor. We shared. We're losing that now as a people, as a species. The dogs still share. It melts my heart when I see what they do. The puppy will get a special bone and he'll be so excited. Groot is his name, and he's a cattle dog. His tail is wagging so hard his whole body is moving. And then he brings that wonderful old stinky bone that he found, and he pushes it in the face of another dog that he cares for. And he offers it to the other dog to chew on, because I don't allow resource guarding here at all. I promote sharing. When we share, everybody gets something. I make sure everybody gets something. We all share. We all take our turns. We all give space to each other. We give respect to each other. And in that, the pack is cohesive, respects each other, cares for each other. And in that, there's power. There's value. Each animal feels valued. So we have to cultivate trust according to where the planets are. We have to look at our children. I see so many parents talk to their children without respect. They don't respect their own children. It's disrespectful how they speak. Then I see the other side of the coin, where they're so careful how they speak to their children that they don't teach. They're afraid of hurting feelings to help them grow. They're afraid of bringing up a point that could hurt their feelings and not let them learn how to deal with difficult circumstances in life. We are so upside down. And not valuing grandparents, sticking them in the nursing homes. I know some of them take a lot of care, and there are so many people out there looking after their parents and their grandparents. And oh my God, I just hope you're so blessed. So this energy field of looking after our aunts and our uncles and our grandparents and our children, those are the links that make society strong and powerful. This is what we need to cultivate. This is what we are being given. The challenge that we're being given is the challenge to care and love each other, to look after each other, to honor each other, to respect each other, to become a community. That's where human power is. And that's what we're being offered by these challenging circumstances, to make things better, not to let them make us worse. That's not the point of this. So folks, I'm going to get off my bandwagon here, but this is what the universe offered to me to offer to you, and I'm going to try harder next week. I'm going to maybe ask my family, grandchildren, children, their children, and see if maybe they want to go, for instance, to that Maple Fest, that lumberjack thing that they're having, I think the weekend, the Essex Region Conservation, I think it's the 4th, the 11th of March, and the 18th, with maple sugar and maple trees and activities and throwing axes. They got all kinds of activities. Look it up online. Just to bond, to have a memory with the maybe 3 or 4 generations. What a great thing to do. So that's things that we need to cultivate. Community, loving each other, spending time with each other, creating those memories, making a cohesive pack. My pack does so well when we all go out together and we do chores together. They help me find eggs, all these dogs. They help me look to see where did that chicken hide that egg this time. So they do. They find the egg faster than I can. They bring it to me, believe it or not. Some get cracked, but not as often as you would think. And they hand it to me in my hand gently, and I trade them for it. I always have cookies in my pocket, and I'll give them a piece of hot dog. Now, they'd like the egg because they love raw eggs. They would like that egg, but instead they give it to me so I can give them something else. Sometimes I try to give them something higher value. Sometimes they'll just take what I happen to have. Might be a ball, might be a frisbee, might be just a kiss on the muzzle saying, oh, thank you, you're such a good dog. Thank you for finding me that egg. And then they feel important, that they've done something. Let's all help each other feel important, shall we? Find something this week to really and truly find important about each other and what we love, and cultivate that. On that note, I'm going to let you go. I've kept you too long. Thank you so much for your time. I thank Charlie so much for all of his hard work in putting us in all different places. He's got us on all these podcasts archived on www.terriworld.com. He's got us on very different platforms. That's Spotify, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music Podcast, SoundCloud, YouTube. I'll send you the link this week when he generously gives it to me. If you would like a reading for yourself, please join us. Give me a shout at 519-726-6699, or you can text or call that number, or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. I also shared a link for Charlie in the GoFundMe page to help keep him on the Big 8. So I will do that again. Please help Charlie stay on the Big 8. It's a wonderful, wonderful station. I can't thank him enough for all of his effort in everything that Charlie does for everybody. He's the epitome of what I was talking about this whole time, in how he shares himself and his love with his family, his neighbors, and us, and you. So please donate to him. I'll have that up on Facebook as well. Or you can email me if you'd like, and I can share the link with you. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Make the most of it. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.